Well, the West Coast Eagles average 112 points per game at Optus Stadium. In the first quarter, they've scored just one behind. The Bombers are the team to watch at the moment. They're leading the way. They're 6-2-38. West Coast just one behind. Embers, follow this game, hashtag AFL Eagles Dons. That was, is there a word better than impressive? Because they were sensational.
They were very good, the Essendon Footy Club. They came with a plan, and that was to really hunt the West Coast Eagles, and they were a lot stronger around the contest in the first quarter. And then on the outside, they were prepared to run and carry. And in transition, the Eagles were just weren't able to slow their ball movement down. The Eagles weren't able to put any pressure on the Essendon mids and their half-backs, and it allowed time and space to be able to go inside forward 50. And the Essendon forward line structure worked really well. They got up the ground, and Stringham in particular, 3 goals, was outstanding in that first quarter. So for mine, the West Coast Eagles are going to have to find a way to match it through the midfield, because they're minus 40 in possessions in the first quarter. They're minus 8 in inside 50 entries, and when you have a look at tackles as well, normally when you're dominating disposal, you're not tackling that much. In that particular first quarter, Essendon plus 8 in tackles.
All very disappointing, those figures. Well, no surprise amongst them, and the West Coast Eagles now halfway to doing a Carlton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's in the air, I reckon. The way they're playing, it's in the air.
Well, where are they going to get the goals from? That's the question. I mean, we spoke about it pre-game. No Darling, no Kennedy. They've got some small forwards that probably play better when the big targets are there. They can just sit at their feet and crumb and kick goals. But now, all of a sudden, they desperately need a Ryan or Rioli to have a bit of a purple patch.
Well, there's 2 issues at the moment. The goals, but at the moment, they just can't get the ball inside their forward 50. They're just getting smashed around the contest. They haven't got time and space when they do go inside their forward 50. Yes, their structure is falling down, and Essendon have been able to win the football back. The Eagles can't put any pressure on the backs of Essendon at the moment, which is allowing them just to be able to run and transition from half-back. So a real big second quarter coming up for the West Coast Eagles, but you just sort of can't see them do anything at the moment.
That forward line for the West Coast Eagles, just taking a look, it's Lacroix, Lysette, Waterman, and then across half forward they've got Cripps, Ryan and Marston. That's not going to kick you too many goals. In the middle, one down this time by Nat Nui. Marston comes off the line, charges in, but it's taken by Merritt, having a good game. Hand passes to McKenna, kicks it down towards half forward. Fantasia grabs it, then accelerates. Brilliantly done. Kicks for a leading player. Up goes Brown. He was the leader. Couldn't take it though. Falls behind. McDonald, Tip and Woody. Hand passes across to Langford. Goes to the pocket. Juggled by Heppel. Couldn't hang on. And taken away then by McGovern, who kicks back towards half-back. And the mark is taken by Lacroix. Hand pass back towards McGovern. He was running into trouble. Managed to get out of it. Lysette then drops his short pass and hangs on to Merritt, but he didn't have the footy.
Merritt will take the free kick. Plays on quickly. Kicks to the wing. Heppel takes the mark. Off and racing he goes. Kicks inside 50. McDonald, Tip and Woody was there. Couldn't take the mark. Ball now falls to the ground. Schofield over the top of his Essendon opponent and will ball it up, only 20 out. We look on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances. Adam Simpson is sitting on the boundary, trying to charge up and fire up his charges. There's going to be a free kick. It'll go Nat Nui's way. One rare mistake for Bell Chambers. Plays on quickly by hand to Gav. His kick, a good one to Hutchings. Round the boundary they come. To left half back, gives it back to Gaff. To Yo, loses possession with a hand pass to the ground. Back into the hands of the Bombers. Well played. This is Fantasia. The kick inside 50, superb. They're too quick.
Again, pressure, Lockie, though. Pressure on the West Coast Eagles' backs. Forcing them into the turnover. The Eagles overusing the handball. Don't want to do that at the moment with Essendon because their heat has been outstanding. They win the footy back. Merritt started this quarter well. Hutchins has gone to him, but at the moment, Zach Merritt finding plenty off the football. Then just great decision-making there from Fantasia to go inside forward 50, lower the eyes to hit Devon Smith.
Devon Smith from 45 on the angle. We're right behind it. Launches it on its way. Straight through the high diddly middle. 7-2-44, the Bombers, a second goal for Devon Smith. And dare I say, close your ears, cover your eyes, whatever. It's just one behind for West Coast. We've gone 2 and a bit minutes in this second quarter.
Well, this is not a performance that we've seen from West Coast all year. They've lacked intensity. They've lacked sharpness. They've been well beaten in every area, and they've been tested for the first time. We're going to find out a bit about the West Coast Eagles from here because at the moment, the Essendon Football Club have come to play and they have put the Eagles to the sword.
Bob James Himmarts down to the boundary with tenure.
Yeah, the Bombers are a man down on the bench at the moment. Josh Green had his left ankle strapped at the quarter-time break. He's now headed to the change rooms with a bit of a hobble, and it's probably stating the obvious. The Eagles look really flat after a 6-day break.
Being dominated at the present time. Langford out of the middle, kicks it down towards half forward for the Bombers. All one-way traffic. Shepherd has other ideas, grabs the football, hand passes to Cripps, hand passes back to Hutchings, gives a hand pass to Gaff, clever kick around the corner, and he finds Duggan, another left footer. Lewis Jetta starting this term on the bench. Just check his stats to quarter time and beyond now. What do you got there, Beast?
3 disposals on the Triple M Bosch Tool stats so far for Lewis Jetta. 27 metres gained.
Well, that's damning, really, because they're being outrun. They need speed on the ground, but they've taken their best runner off the ground as the ball goes out of bounds at the interchange gates. We'll have a throw in.
To extend on that, 8 West Coast Eagles have 2 or less disposals this game so far on the Triple M Bosch Tool stats.
The Bombers by 43 points early in the second quarter. The tap by Bell Chambers, terrific. Went to Langford to Merritt. He has to go back by hand to the top of his defensive 50. D has it. Goes to Hooker. Good pressure from Ryan. Probably the best passage of play from West Coast. Ryan's pressure just got hands to the hand pass of Hooker. And the ball rolled over the line and out of bounds.
Better by the West Coast Eagles. That's what they're going to have to do when they get their ball inside their forward 50. They need that pressure to be able to lock it up and get these repeat stoppages.
Bill Chambers tried to get in the front position. Lycett came from behind as the ball was thrown back into play. Ball just bobbling around. Lycett did well, got the hand pass away. Now it's with Marston. Received it from Redden, gave it back to Redden, caught in a tackle. Smith came from behind. Then Redden nearly gave away a free kick. He might have just copped him in the head as he threw the elbow back. No free kick or 50-metre penalty. Smith will get the free for the tackle. Wants to spread it wide. Now has to come this side of the ground. Broadcast side. Comes towards the wing. Packle form. Schofield there to fist it away. It was a good one away from McKernan and over the line and out of bounds. The Bombers 7-2-44. West Coast 1 behind, 5 gone in the second quarter. That is on Den, the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
I knew that. Evan Smith having a terrific season. The number 1 tackler in the AFL. Bell Chambers knocks the ball back across the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
10 disposals so far for Smith this game, 147 metres gained on the Triple M Bosch Tool stats.
He's been outstanding. Those figures don't quite tell the story. Put so much pressure on Bell Chambers brilliantly down to Langford. Hand passes to Merritt. Gave it to Fantasia. Sard. Hand passes back to Fantasia off balance. That was a brilliant hand pass through a pack. Found Langford, short pass from Goddard, onto the chest of Bagley, spins around, they want it along the forwards, high ball down towards Brown, edges his opponent under the football, there's a whistle, and McGovern will get the free kick down there, but again, wonderful ball movement by Essendon, no doubting the free kick.
So the ball's on the far side of the ground in the right back pocket, a long kick out towards the wing will be fisted over the boundary line. McGovern was the kicker. And we'll have a throw in. So the 1 behind from West Coast in that first quarter was the worst first quarter by any team at Optus. And the impressive performance, the 6-2 by the Bombers, the best against West Coast in the first quarter against Optus. So they look the goods at the moment. Can they hold on? Here's Hutchings who gathers it. Quick kick along the line. Went to Rioli. There might be a free kick though down the grounds.
Ball might have just trickled out of bounds.
Was it? Okay. Just before the kick, so it'll come back to where the kick came from. And we'll throw it back into play. 7-2-44 Essendon. West Coast just 1 behind. 7 gone now in this second quarter. Ball thrown in there. The ruckman got a tap away. But Donald Tippenwoody took on the tackler and he's been taken high. Might get the free kicks in just a moment, Beast, because a lot of talk about West Coast getting frees in the lead up to this game. The kick inside 50 from the Bombers. No one could take the mark. Brown was there. He couldn't hold on. Heppel gets a hand pass away. Stringer was taken in a good tackle now with Gav. Hand passes towards the boundary line to Hearn, who gives it off to Shepherd, and then Shepherd kicks up towards the wing. Ryan flew high. Went a little early though, and the Bombers at the back will take it, although great tackle from Rioli.
Goddard's got it now. Grabbed the loose ball. Runs into a tackle. Hand pass successfully across towards McGrath. McGrath feeds it back to D, and D chips it out wide, and the mark has been taken by Heppel. Heppel comes in short to McGrath, and they just take a breath on the outer side, Essendon. Haven't had much time for that so far. Playing at breakneck speed. Short to D, short to Hooker. Hooker up from centre half back, kicks it down towards half forward. What a brilliant kick. Finds the leading target in Brown, lays it off to Langford, kicks inside the forward 50. Trying to soccer it out of there was Duggan. Ball comes across towards Yo, hand passes to Duggan. Duggan kicks it directly back to Redmond. Forward of the wing, he kicks inside the forward 50. Coming over the top, Schofield punches it away just in the nick of time from Stringer, and it goes out of bounds.
Just getting back to those free kicks, 9-6 in favour of the Eagles on the Triple M Borstal stats.
Well, there you go. They've got a few late beasts. Seemed to go the other way early on, but they're still getting an advantage. Not on the scoreboard. It's 43 points, Essendon. Could be even more. McDonald, tip and Wally! Round the corner he goes with another one. Beautiful roving. The little man gathered it, and from the boundary, Andrew Embley slotted it through. 8-2-50 plays, one behind. I'm loving this contest by Essendon.
It's, well, we've seen some good goals this year. That was an absolute cracker from Tippin Woody on the boundary line. No daylight, but the way it's going at the moment for the Essendon Football Club, as we have a look at Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay, the Eagles supporters are absolutely shell-shocked at the moment. Tippin Woody, he's an exciting player. And he is just from another clearance. They are dominating the clearances in this quarter, 6-1. And Tippin Woody, he was just smart. Awareness over the left shoulder. It was a wonderful goal.
How about that, on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay? What a terrific kick by Tippin Woody. Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances. Meanwhile, after the centre bounce, a chance for Redden, tracks it towards the edge of the square. In there was Merritt, slapping it forward the West Coast Eagles, but Redmond's in the road. He's immediately tackled from both sides. That ball can't possibly come out, so we'll get a ball up. Tossed up on the arc of the 50 in the centre of the ground. After it goes Hutchings, applies a tackle. Down goes Myers. West Australian, ball doesn't come out. Fantasia had it last. 50 plays one. West Coast just one behind. Essendon on fire at the moment. Out of the congestion. Kicked high in the air by Nat Nui. Follows his own kick, punches it forward. In the opposite direction, Hurley grabs it and heads for the boundary. And this is going to be deemed deliberate. Now, that's a couple of hot ones that have gone against the Bombers, because the two players leading their opponents to the football were both Essendon players, and they weren't far from the footy.
Duggan kicks inside, attacking 50, pack forms. And no one can take the mark. LeCraft fell to the ground, nearly holding on to it, but fumbled it over the line.
I'm with you, Dennis. When you're under pressure and you're clearing your defensive half and you push when you kick it, it's very stiff to be paid deliberate. And I think a couple of calls have gone against Essendon so far tonight.
Ball thrown back in. Nat Nui taken high, and he'll get the free kick. It'll be against Myers, and a chance for maybe Embers, the first goal for the West Coast Eagles. Oh, they just played it a little bit, but he did cop it high.
No, free kick was there.
Free kick.
Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Coming in was Myers and just got him around the neck. Massive kick coming up here for Nick Nat Nui and the West Coast Eagles.
11 minutes gone in the second quarter. And finally a goal for West Coast from their superstar. They're 117, Essendon 8-2-50. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. Stock up for the footy season at IGA Liquor. Head to igaliquor.com.au to find your nearest store.
Well, West Coast are going to win this game now if McGovern stays back. I think Adam Simpson really needs to push McGovern forward. They're going to have to kick over 100 points. McGovern's been good across half-back, but I just feel like at the moment the Eagles' structure is falling down and they're getting smashed around the contest. But when they go inside their forward 50, their structure's not great. Nat Nui gets an important goal, but certainly something I think Adam Simpson may have to do soon. 5
disposals, 10 hit-outs, 3 clearances to go with the 1 goal from Nat Nui on the Triple M Bosch Tools stats.
Bombers lead it by 43 points then. We're back in the middle. Nat Nui reinvigorated back there as well, but Bill Chambers hooks it down behind, taken by Heppel, gives it to Sard, off balance, hand passes to Myers. Myers in and out of traffic, played it very well. Hand passes back to Hooker. Hooker drives it through midfield. Terrific mark, Bill Chambers. Geez, played again, Bell Chambers. Plays on immediately. Hand passes across to Goddard. Kicks inside the forward 50. Merritt grabs it. Hand passes to Green. Green tried to change direction. May have twisted an ankle there. He's caught for holding the ball. Now he gets up. He seems to be okay, but he should have given that ball off then.
He's talking to the umpire. Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. He might be a little bit unlucky there. He might have got a big whack across the head there, Green, as he went down. Could have been a free kick to Essendon.
Little hand to the face, Embers. But anyway, West Coast have the footy, and McInnes has taken the mark on the wing. Wants a 50-metre. Will get a 50-metre. Man not standing on the mark properly. McInnes will be brought to the top of the 50. The defensive pressure of Rioli and Ryan are starting to ramp up a little bit, which has meant that Sard hasn't had the clean run that he had in that first quarter.
Well, no doubt the last 5 or 6 minutes, the West Coast Eagles have had better pressure inside their forward 50 once the ball hits the ground. They still need some good targets in there because at the moment they haven't been able to find targets inside forward 50, but a couple of big moments coming up. Nat Nui's goal now, McInnes.
McInnes from outside 50. Loads up and misses to the left-hand side. A minor score for the West Coast Eagles. They're 1-2-8. The Bombers 8-2-50 for Bob Jane Team Arts. Let's head to the boundary. 10.
Essendon forward Jake Stringer just back on the ground after spending a bit of time on the bench. Looked like he copped a kick in the right shin. He had some ice on it. Then they strapped it. He's back on the ground now.
McKenna's got the football in the back pocket. Kicks around the outer side for the Bombers. Outside the defensive 50. Back it comes, though. Obliging bounce for Rioli just inside the 50. Hand passes to McInnes. He's taken down immediately. Strong tackle. See, they've tackled well today, too. Or tonight, more particularly. That was McInnes' tackle. Latched on, stayed on. Not a big man, but did it brilliantly. Hooker out of the congestion. Didn't go 15, said the umpire. And may have been touched en route as well. It was caught there, or marked, if you like, by Nat Nui, but not paid a mark. It'll be a toss-up. Ball was held to him. And after that, comes across to Smith from hooker. He drives it around the outer side. Test of strength out there, and Hearn took the mark and got the free kick anyway. Having a remarkable season. He's a walk-up for the All-Australian team. Could even be captain. He drives it back inside the forward 50. And McInnes, well, he's showing a bit. Plays spasmodically for the West Coast Eagles. And he's stepping up at the present time, giving them a target and competing strongly in those packs.
His hands have been strong tonight. Fraser McInnes hasn't played a whole lot of football for the West Coast Eagles, but he gets his chance tonight with Darling and Josh Kennedy out, and this is another big kick coming up.
He's only about 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, but that's a poor kick. Just sneaks it home to the far side there for a behind. So it improves the West Coast Eagles scoreline, but it's still paltry, 139 to 8-250, and that's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard.
The Bombers will come out from attack. The kick up towards the wing. No one can take the mark. A little bit of holding on. It'll go Duggan's way. Just letting you know. We'll keep you up to date with the Socceroos score. They're taking on Denmark later on tonight. The kick inside 50. Another mark. No, from McInnes. Went through his hands. Ryan's there to try and trap it. So too Cripps had his kick smothered. Ball 20 metres out from an Eagles goal. And we'll ball it back up again. Starts that game, the Socceroos game. Starts in about an hour's time. They'll start with the same starting lineup, Embers, as the one that took on France. So we'll keep you up to date. Tap down, good. Lysett, the kick, not so good. Off to the right-hand side, another minor score. 1-4-10 is the West Coast Eagles score. And the Bombers, 8-2-50.
But they're looking better, the West Coast Eagles. Working much harder and playing with much more conviction. Ball was driven out by McKenna towards half-back. Off-hands taken by McGrath. Kicks it up towards the wing. McGovern did well, stopped it, then slapped it across to Shepherd. He kicks inside the forward 50. Down goes Lacroix. Loose ball spills away. In goes Nat Nui on all fours. Ball rolls away from him now. McGuinness has got it. He's immediately thrown to the deck. And suddenly, it's a competition. West Coast Eagles matching it with Essendon after what was a very tardy start. Tossed in the air. Nat Nui wins the tap this time. Charging in Myers. Could have almost got a free kick. Nothing doing. McGrath in this pack. But the base of it is reddened eventually. He couldn't get the ball out, so we'll have another ball up.
Thrown up, 35 out from the Eagles goal. Good tap down to Nat Nui. Shuey, though, was tackled as he tried to kick it away. And it went a little far over the line and out of bounds on the full. So about an hour's time, less than an hour now. It's the Socceroos up against Denmark. Same lineup against France. We'll keep you up to date. 40 points is the margin here at Optus Stadium. The Bombers are leading it. What a great first quarter. The Eagles fighting back in this second term, but they need goals through the hands as it was kicked out. Gathered by Shepherd, fell to ground, but he was taken high. Another free kick for the West Coast Eagles. Too far out to score, though. He'll have to load it up again. Nat Nui's hovering, hoping to jump over the top of someone. Has to come from behind on this occasion. The punch was straight into the lap of Goddard, who kicked it back into the chest of Brad Shepherd, who will have another crack from 70 outs.
He's down towards right half forward, sends a long one inside the forward 50. Nat Nui up, got both hands to it, couldn't hang on. Well done by Myers, found a way through the pack, kicks it back outside the 50. Grabbed on the outer side there by Lysette. Been looking for a teammate in Schofield but missed him. Now the run of the ball favours Fantasia. Fantasia slips it over the top, intended for McDonald Tippenwoody. He applies a very strong tackle on Schofield. He got a fickle bounce initially, McDonald Tippenwoody. Now was that high? I think the umpire is going to ball it up. He is. So Schofield was bending down over the football. McDonald Tippenwoody did very well not to give a free kick away. Close to the boundary line, Fantasia takes it out. Just moments ago, I was watching Devon Smith, who's got a limp up. So we'll keep an eye on him. Boundary throw in, left half forward for the Bombers. And in this term, the team that's done most of the attacking has been the West Coast Eagles.
For McDonald's, Triple M Rocks footy. That was the voice of Dennis Cometti. Ball thrown back into play. The Bombers are out now. Gathered, and it'll come back. Fantasia was off to the races. He'll be dragged back where the ball was thrown back into play. And the free kick will go Essendon's way. No one standing on the mark. They're not awake. Fantasia gathers it, kicks towards the goal square, climbing high and nearly kicking a magnificent goal was Stringer. He jumped over the top of his opponents, couldn't take the mark, picked up the crumbs and tried to kick it over his head. Didn't go through. 8-3-51 plays 1-4-10. It's the Bombers leading by 41.
When he plays on pure instinct, he's really got something, Stringer. That was remarkable a couple of times. Yo's got the ball on the outer side, kicks it up towards the wing. Big pack. McGuinness flew from behind, trying to soccer it forward. Redden. Getting in front was Ryan. Got to his feet, having slipped. Got the football too. Now he hand passes across to Lacroix. Lacroix will try and bounce it through, and it just misses. Wide right by less than a metre. But it landed virtually on the goal line. But the West Coast Eagles playing with a lot more passion. They need to. 8-3-51, 1-5-11. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. And now Essendon bringing it out and put it out of bounds on the full. So just for the moment, they're being tested, the Bombers. They've got a great lead. Hard to stop from here, but at least the West Coast Eagles at the moment are just winning this little battle. He kicks down towards full forward as McGuinness. Off hands, falls to Lacroix. No way out of the pack. Got a hand pass to Yo. Yo snaps. It's very close. And he misses by the narrowest of margins. May have just grazed the post. So the West Coast Eagles to be commended for what they've turned around. 8-3-51 plays 1-6-12.
6 scoring shots to 2 Embers in this quarter, but it's 2 goals to the Bombers from their 2 scoring shots. West Coast have kicked 1 goal, 5 in this second term. Could be costly if they want to get into it. This is Saad. Runs round his defensive 50. Goes for the short pass. Until he has it. He'll kick it along the line, far side of the grounds. McDonald Tippenwoody jumps a little bit early. Ball comes through his hands with the numbers, the Bombers. Here's Merritt, caught in a tackle by Shuey. Yo's there to try and help him out. Comes out the back. The kick was smothered. Now a chance for Waterman at the top of the attacking 50. Loses possession. Yo gathers it. Yo gives it off to Jeddah. He's caught in the tackle. Tight to the boundary line. West Coast continued to march away, but there's going to be a free. It's going to go the Bombers' way somehow. Pushing the back, said the umpire, and the Bombers will bring it across the defensive 50. Good kick. McKernan's taken the mark at right half back.
Redmond can play. That was a lovely kick coming out as he called Lockie. McKernan goes short inside the centre square. Langford's got it now. Looks out towards the wing. Well, not a very good kick. On balance, this could be called deliberate. No, the umpire says, no, that's fine. It was just a poor kick. It was intended for a Bomber who was standing close to the boundary line. It hasn't been their day in those circumstances. So it'll be tossed in right in front of our commentary position. Glorious night for footy. Lysette goes up, wins it down. Yo came strongly, well played, knocked it to Redden. Hand passes to Hutchings, looks inside the forward 50, peeling off with wonderful anticipation is Redmond. Juggles the mark. This young South Australian is going to be a good player. Goes short to Merritt. Barely to 15 to Goddard. Looks back inside the 50 and kicks it to Hooker. Man on the mark is virtually on the 50. And Hooker backs back to the boundary line now. Told to play on. Just kicks it around the outer side from behind Bell Chambers. Mistimed his leap. Taken behind out there by Guelphy. Got a hand pass away. And the young boy from Swan Districts goes after the football. Falling on top of the pack out there is Myers. A couple of West Australians representing the Bombers there, and we'll get a ball up.
12 of the last 13 inside 50s to West Coast now. They lead +5 in that category on the Triple M Bosch Tools stats.
Bosch tools and accessories. Good better Bosch looking after it. Is Mark Cometti. The kick is a high one West Coast way. No one can take the mark. Marston there to gather it. He hand pass straight to Sard though of Essendon. He goes by hand to McGrath. They have to run backwards to try and set something up. It's with Merritt. Tidy little kick out towards the boundary line. That was spot on. And the mark's been taken. Far side of the ground by Smith, and he tells his team just to settle down. 39 points is Essendon's lead. And he'll kick it along the line. The pack will form. The big men go at it. No one can take a mark. Merritt gathers it. His hand pass smothered. Charging at it and doing really well was Redden. He couldn't get the hand pass away, though. The pressure came. Somehow it comes out the back, and a high kick into the middle of the ground will land on the chest of Hutchings. Time running out for West Coast. Need a couple of goals. They trail it by 39 points. He goes back towards his teammate in Gaff. Little 1-2 with Schofield, and then Gaff gets it on the boot up towards right half forward. McInnes has to come from behind. Hooker took a great mark, juggled it about 10 times. McInnes was trying to slap it away, but in the end, Hooker held onto it.
Hooker goes short. Finds Langford, flirts with the idea of moving on. The beast never ceases to amaze me. He gave us those figures. West Coast with a decisive lead now in inside 50s. The state of the game doesn't reflect that. 8-3 to 1-6, but that is really something. So now we talked about the absence of Kennedy and Darling in the first term. It didn't go in there often enough. Now it's telling. It's a free kick on the outer side, going to Brown of Essendon, who started the game very well. Short to Sard, so did he. Most of them did for Essendon. Kick inside the forward 50 from Sard. Off hands, falls in front. Marston the first to arrive. Gathers the bouncing ball, twists and turns. Hand passes back towards the pocket. And now Cole steps out of bounds. And there'll be a boundary throw in. Pleading his case with Stringer with some conviction. And I think a pretty good case too, because Cole just had it. Saw the tackle coming and stepped across the boundary line. Eagles needing to hold here in front of the pack. Redden after the boundary throw in. Got the crumb. Gaff tried to kick it, missed it. McGrath goes in, gets it. Smith's got it now. Tackled by Huey. Taken down strongly. McGrath's taken exception to that tackle. Goes after Shuey. It's going to be a free kick to Shuey. I think he paid holding the ball there against Smith. Shuey just pops it over the man on the mark. Barely 15, and he finds Redden.
Make sure you pick up a McOz lunch deal for just $5 at Macca's between 10:30 and 2 p.m. for McDonald's. Triple M Rocks footy. The Eagles kick it along towards the wing. Ryan nearly took another hanger. Gathered though by McKenna for the Bombers. He kicks inside 50. Pinpoint accuracy. And a fumbled mark by Stringer. He was on the boundary line. Went into his chest. And as he rolled over the boundary line, it bobbled out and then went back into his hand. So it'll be a throw-in. 25 rounds.
Gaff and Redden really doing some work for the Eagles this quarter. 15 disposals for Gaff, 14 for Redden now on the Triple M Bosch Tools stats.
Donald Tippenwoody gives it towards Smith. His kick towards the goal square. And Schofield had to come from behind to fist it away from Brown. And we'll get another throw-in. Andrew Embley is our man looking after the Triple M Seabar Super Special comments. Seabar Super for everyone in building and construction. Wears his Norm Smith medal each and every week. Doesn't like to gloat too much. As the ball's thrown back into play. Bell Chambers and Nat Nui couldn't get a tap away, and we'll have another ball up. Only 25 metres out on the angle. And it's the Bombers. They're leading by 39 points as half-time fast approaches.
Yeah, under 2 minutes to half-time. Nat Nui at the second attempt knocks it down. McGrath goes after it. Tackled by Yo, off the ground by Schofield. Still inside the 50 though for Essendon. Langford runs outside the 50 now. Hooks it back across his body. What a clever kick. And fitting that Bill Chambers has taken the mark. He set things up in the first 5 minutes. He was dominant. He's played his heart out and now will line up a goal from about 35 metres out.
Hard to say it, but Bill Chambers was actually hiding behind the umpire at that stage, just on his hands and knees, just as the kick came in.
It's come to that.
Yeah, sneaky
That's
stuff.
an old wrestling trick, Mark.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Beast.
The guy pushed the umpire over. You know how it works.
So Bill Chambers comes in, and this one is off to the right. I don't think you like the comparison with wrestlers. Your voice carries, Beast.
You scared him, Beast. You put him off the kick. 8-4. 52 is the Bombers score. 1-6-12, the West Coast Eagles. And we're less than a minute away from half-time. Hearn plays on from full-back, kicks out wide towards the wing. Nat Nui from behind couldn't gather it. McGrath did for the Bombers. Bagley tried to take the diving mark. Gathering it was Jed up to Gaff by hand, to Cole. Rare possession for him. Goes short to Redden. They've got to get going now. Time's ticking away. Redden gets it on the boot, but he'll kick it straight to Hurley at left half back, and Hurley takes a safe mark. Essendon by 40 points. It's been a brilliant first half here at Optus Stadium by the visitors.
Yeah, that was a poor kick around the outer side, wasn't it? Now Essendon kick it around towards Bill Chambers. He had it punched away. Finishes up with Hutchings camped in front of the pack. He kicks it down towards right half forward. Hurley comes over the top of Waterman, thumps it out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Clock stops with 8 seconds remaining, so only a quick kick by the West Coast Eagles inside forward 50 could result in a score now. Tossed in. Nat Nui hooks up with Bill Chambers. Bill Chambers in a test of strength won it. Comes to Redden. Heppel goes in hard at him. Spills wide to Yo. There's the siren. It's half time. And the Bombers have been terrific in the first half. They got away to lead 6-2 to a behind at quarter time as Yo takes a kick after the siren. He hasn't got the distance, and now at half-time, Essendon challenged a bit in that quarter. Much tougher sledding for them. 8-4-52 to 1-6-12. And that's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. The McDonald's Triple M rocks footy.